How many times have you scheduled in the perfect day with perfect time blocking just to not stick to any of it? You feel like that over and over, leaving you in a loop of frustration. I've been extensively dissecting all the scheduling techniques and frameworks I could find to create the perfect science-based scheduling system that allows you to schedule effectively and actually stick to it. And I figured out it all comes down to three main points that you can apply right now. First off, I want you to look at those two schedules and guess which one is better according to this framework and why. Before answering that, I'd like to explain the psychology of scheduling. Whenever you set plans or schedules for the future, you naturally don't set plans to act upon. You set plans that make you feel good while planning, since your brain loves to fantasize about future success. That's why you energetically make ambitious plans with fully stacked time blocks, but when their time comes, you procrastinate or get distracted very easily, failing to do any of what you plan to. The biggest proof of that is that although you're stuck in this cycle of creating overambitious plans and failing to deliver, you keep making even bigger plans. It just feels good. This applies to short-term and long-term plans up to New Year's resolutions. In the book Seeking Wisdom from Darwin to Munger, Peter Bevelin says, "We tend to overestimate our ability to predict the future. People tend to put a higher probability in desired events than on undesired events. For example, we are over-optimistic about the outcome of planned actions. In that light, you can tell that although this calendar seems more productive, this one would actually be more productive and you'd be more able to stick to it." I've made a masterpiece of a Notion template optimized for efficient, productive scheduling, which integrates all the steps in this video, by the way. Download for free from the link in the description. Anyway, here's exactly what makes this schedule more effective and what you should do with your own scheduling. 1. Set an extra margin for each activity, from 1.5 to double the time you originally think it would take. And 2, leave room between blocks to increase flexibility such that if you get distracted for whatever reason, you don't have to throw the whole thing away but can rather readjust. But if you want to be even more effective with your scheduling and make it easier and simpler to be productive, that's where step 2 comes in. You see, when you have multiple different things on your calendar, you can sometimes be overloaded and feel like there's this pressure to handle everything perfectly. This sensation is crippling and overwhelming, but that's where prioritization comes in. When you prioritize tasks, you're giving your brain a map so it can work with better focus instead of having your mental energy scattered all around. That is called efficiency. David Allen, the author of Getting Things Done, preaches the same principle. To efficiently prioritize, do the following. 1. Once you've laid down your schedule for the day, ask yourself, what's the 1 or 2 most important things that I'll be satisfied with having done them and nothing else by the end of the day? I recommend starting with 1, aka the daily highlight, which is a very practical technique I've learned from the book Make Time. And 2, make the more important tasks early in the day and during times of focus to make sure you do them even if you get interrupted later. But here's the catch. All of that makes only 1% of good scheduling because even perfectly scheduled and prioritized tasks aren't enough for you to achieve your long-term goals if you do it for only one day, which is where step 3 comes in. Optimizing that remaining 99% of your productivity output by sustaining this system across months, not days. But firstly, I want you to tell me, how do you think some people out there manage to maintain hyper-consistent habit streaks of hundreds of days, while others struggle developing consistency for even a few days? Before answering that, let's take a look at one of the biggest drivers of motivation and predictors of consistency: positive feedback cycles. When you make a small win in any area of life and perceive it as so, your brain rewards you with a driving sensation that encourages you to make more small wins. That's called motivation, and is why winning in anything feels so good. Understanding this will enable you to exploit a loophole in your brain that provides a consistent stream of motivation and drive to help you maintain consistency, scheduling, and working over long periods of time. To jumpstart this loop, you need to do one simple thing. It's not the 5 a.m. daily alarm, it's not the 12-hour study days, it's not the perfect morning routines. In fact, it's the exact opposite: deliberate appreciation. When you actively choose to be satisfied with what you've done for the day and choose to perceive it as a win, you're igniting that thread of long-term motivation. This is also where margin scheduling and the daily highlight come into play. They change your perception of a win from a perfect morning routine followed by 17 hours of focused work to simply doing something productive in the day, because life happens after all. In summary, schedule modestly with double margins and empty spaces, choose 1 or 2 daily highlights, and actively choose to appreciate the progress you've made at the end of the day. Now, here's what I didn't tell you at the beginning. Even with such perfect scheduling, you won't be able to get anything done if you procrastinate a lot, which is why I made a neuroscience-based technique on how to overcome procrastination forever. Watch it by clicking here, and I'll see you in my next one. Arrivederci.